back to Candy and Karen's Play with Intention. Today we're going to introduce to you a homemade marble one. We're not using marbles, but it will be similar. So before we begin, first we would like to acknowledge that we are located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Tawasin, and Kwantlen people, and that we are guests in the territory of the indigenous people of this land. So today's marble run activity, we're going to use a lot of materials we can find around the home. So we're not going out to purchase too much stuff at all, if any, honestly. This is stuff we found in our house or in our office located in Richmond Caring Place. And then why marble run? And the most important is kids like it. It's really fun, and also it's like they get to experiment, because when you say buy a marble run, it takes a lot of time to build and they don't get to build from scratch. But now they get to see the mechanics of it, and also they get to experiment, see what works and what doesn't. So there's a lot of things to do, and it's just using tape, and like if you want a more secure way, maybe a glue gun, but that's up to you. So let's go over the materials we have today. Okay, so first we have some tubing. So these are paper towel rolls that we finished using. You could use toilet paper rolls, or I think this is probably like a wrapping roll for something. So that these are stuff we collected over, or we just happen to in our recycling. And we have some coffee pot boxes that are kind of roll shaped, so they don't have to necessarily be round, they just have to be a tubing shape. And then we have tape. So we have some masking tape, and these look fancy, but they're just regular clear tape, and that just we happen to have them. So any tape would work. It's just masking tape is a little bit weaker, and this is a little bit stronger. So when you need to do reinforcing the tubings, like this kind of like clear tape will work better. And a pair of scissors. So when you're working with children with scissors, like we do it, there are children's size scissors that kids can use, and there's a bit more safe because they're a little bit rounded at the tip that children can use, and it's good for their motor skills to learn how this grip work. It'll take some time because we're cutting cardboard, it's a little hard, so they might need help. So if you're gonna do most of the cutting, we can also use an X-Acto knife. You don't have to use scissors, but yeah, you just have to talk about the safety of how to handle scissors around your children if they're older. So like, you know, you hold your scissors like this. We're not gonna run with them, or if you want, you can hold them like this as well, but there's no running. We're gonna walk slowly and be very careful, and we're not gonna wave the scissors around. So safety. So it's a good safety talk for your children how to handle with scissors. And for the experiment part, when instead of marbles, because they're quite small and we were using big tubings, we have these balls. So these are felt wool balls that we have. You can try pom-poms. We have a styrofoam ball and a wooden bead from one of our toys at the library here. So anything round, or maybe a square object, and see what happens. Who knows? And most importantly, we need to put the tubes on somewhere and build it on. We have a giant box. In our case, it's a giant box, but cardboard paper will work. If you're up for it, even your walls at home, parents, if you really want to, but you don't have to. But a giant paper box will work, and this will just give it a good stand. So even a piece of cardboard will work too. So first, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting some of our tubings. So what you need to do is let's cut these ones. So if you have square tubings like us, then we're gonna cut them half, so diagonally across all the way through. So I'm gonna cut these now, okay? So now these are cut. So mistakes happen, it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect because we have tape. So we're gonna tape, so you see one end needs to be open, so for the marble to go through, but we're gonna tape these ends together, okay? So I'm just gonna use masking tape. If you want to use any tape, it's fine. I just find masking tape easy for kids to rip, and they can use themselves, and it's sturdy enough because our marbles are not gonna be too strong. So you just have to tape it here. just gonna nip this part. So we finished with the square tubings, like they're all ready. So now I'm gonna show you how to do it with the toilet paper tube. You could just cut it in half and half too, but I find toilet paper tube or even these tubes tend to be a little bit flimsy. So I would actually just cut one line down this way and go through. And then you have like that, and just fold this in a little bit, just like here, not much. And then you have a wider tubing. So this way, it's like if you have a bigger ball, you can accommodate a bigger ball. And also, they tend to not fly out of the way as much. So this is a good time to also talk to your children about it doesn't have to be perfect. And if they want to be perfect, it's fine too. But it's all about making it, like it's about experimenting and trying. So once you get it to the configuration that you want in terms of how you want it to, how the marbles, like how the balls to roll off and whatnot, then you can even make it, like you can paint it, and there's like, so it's like a week, you know, the projects can get extended and continue. You can paint it or add more tubings and try different things. So that will be something to do after we finish building. So now we're gonna stick them onto the box. This is exciting. So I'm gonna move this around. So I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have about 9 of these. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna use all of them. I might not. I'm not sure yet. But okay, so we're gonna start sticking them on. So what you want to do is open end down and the end that we tape together up. So like this, and then like this. Because what happens if you don't, and you can try this and show your children, and that's a good way to see why do you need to close the ends or kind of discover it together, is, or else the ball will just keep flying because velocity. It will just want to go that way, right? So, and how you want to angle it will determine how fast you want the balls to roll. So we're going to do it, because I have quite a few, so we're not going to angle it too steep. We're going to probably do it around like that, okay? So we're just using masking tape again. It's just because if you want to, it's easier to move around. So once you're ready, you can use a more permanent solution. Like I said, glue gun is one of them, or even just like a strong kind of like a box tape is also a good choice to make it a little bit stronger. So what I do is I put a tape on one end and we just flip it up like that. This will give it a good kind of secure way. If you're using the wool balls that I showed you, some sort of a lighter ball, this will be more than enough for it to be secure. Even a ping pong ball, if you will. So the wooden bead is a little bit heavier, so it might not work as well, but that's okay. Like it might just weigh it down a little bit, and that's okay. Like, so you need to figure out next is what ways to reinforce it, and one of the ways to reinforce it is to probably put some more tape on the bottom, or like a popsicle stick on the bottom as well. So when you do this, remember that you need, or this is something for your children to discover. So I'm going to give you a remembering, but like it's nice to kind of discover, is you leave a little gap in between, because if you put it too close, the ball will roll down. So you want to leave a little bit of gap so the ball, when they kind of come down, like there's gap for it to roll down again, right? So it doesn't have to be this far, because the ball is going to roll this way and roll back. So you can actually put them here, around here. So again, it's something to discover. It's an experiment, like science experiment. So there's no right, there's no wrong, and if it doesn't work, try again and fix it. That's why, again, I recommend either painter's tape or masking tape, because it's less, for a lack of a better term, it's less permanent in that sense, right? So it's like you can go back and change it, if you will, whenever you want to. about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these on there. So 5 of them on there, and I'm gonna test my hypothesis and see if my layout works. So I'm gonna grab one of my ball, my little wool ball, and I'm gonna start. Oh no! It flew off! So it might be because this is a little bit wider. It didn't go all the way in here, and that's okay. So either you can squeeze it in a little bit more, or if it's, maybe put a piece of tape on it to hold it in a little bit more because it's so wide. Okay, so we're gonna try again. We have the tape, we fixed it, so we're gonna go again. Whoa! Oh! It went into the hole, but it bounced out. Why did it happen? That's a good hypothesis. So you can put multiple balls and let it kind of roll around and do experiment and see, like the little foam ball. Oh! It did it again! Isn't that fun? So so you can experiment. So what you can do is you can try to put a basket here to catch the ball, or you can make bigger gaps between these and put a little tubing so the ball will fall into the tube and then come down the other way. So lots to experiment. So all you need is, again, toilet paper roll, and honestly, if you really can't, you can even use like cardstock and kind of roll it into like this shape that we did here, and then kind of put them on. So whatever you have handy. So like not try to, like, you don't have to go out and buy all of this stuff. And also, and remember, they can play hours and hours and hours on this, so that like you can adjust it, because we're using masking tape, so we can adjust it, and afterwards you can even paint it. So thank you for discovering Marble Run with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Brought to you by Richmond Care, Richmond Gives, and the Richmond Child Care Resource and Referral. So if you want to learn more about our services, please click on the link below, especially at the Richmond Early Years Library. Thank you. Goodbye.